my dear Capricorn. This is your love and spirituality reading for the month of February 2019 with me, Queen of Cups Tarot. We are soon entering into Aquarius season, so happy birthday to all Aquarius out there. And I read for the signs in order of most liked videos, and you can see the order I read in this time around at the community section of my channel. And thank you all Capricorn for liking, watching, commenting, donating and subscribing to my channel. I am so grateful for all of your appreciation, and hitting that like button is helping my channel in very beautiful ways. This is a general reading for Sun, Moon and Rising sign. The reading can go both ways. The drama is the same, but it can be different castings to the different roles by the universe. And for this reading, I used the Crystal Tarot by Elisabetta Trevisan, and I will start shuffling your cards. So, when I open your deck here, I see Four of Swords together with the Sun. So it seems like someone is holding back their passion, but it's a situation where someone is very clear-minded and kind of see the truth, but doesn't act upon said truth. It might be that you know your dream, you know your who you love, you know what you want to do with your life, but you're not taking any action at this moment. So I call the Divine with Love and Light, and here we have an Ace of Wands together with the Four of Swords. So now you have had the two highest energy cards in the whole deck, the Sun and the Ray of Sun, Ace of Wands. It's like the sun in a magnifying glass, picking up the sun's rays and aiming it towards something that will catch on fire. But here with the Four of Swords, it's kind of you're cooling this energy down or trying to not act upon it, or I don't think you're scared. It's something else preventing you from doing this. Maybe it's a want to be cool, wants to be in control, don't want to follow your passion. It might be that this is a logic decision. Maybe your passion, you feel that your passion is stupid or wrong, or you're going after the wrong thing or something that's unhealthy. But I don't think it's like that. Maybe you hold your passion in to wait for someone else to show theirs. It can be that also. Maybe you don't want to have the whole of Rome built on your back alone. Okay, so I call the four archangels in the four corners of the world. And here we have death together with the Four of Swords. So Four of Swords is sometimes it's a little bit of a death scene. It's like someone is laying before their death, and here death comes. So it's a very peculiar situation where I'm thinking you are very passionate about something, you know the truth about something, you have found out who you love, what you want, but you're going to kill it off, or you're going to end it because you don't like the consequences of this. So the most obvious situation I see is you loving someone that doesn't love you back, and you don't want to love that someone anymore. Or there's a career that you want, but you can't seem to get this what you want, so you're giving it up, maybe putting your dancing shoes on the shelf, or deciding to not pursue that dream anymore, some dream. Okay. So I call the six elements, and here we have the Knave of Chalices together with death. So death is Scorpio. We had the Sun, that's Leo, Four of Swords, Libra. This is earth water element, so it's like a fertile seed or an egg or an embryo. So something new is coming in the wake of this death, and maybe that is what you're waiting for. Something more new, something more fresh, something that's more accurate and the thing that came before. So six elements, earth, wind, fire, water, spirit and ether, to join us here today and to give us a clear view reading for my dear Capricorn viewers. So we have an Ace of Pentacles, also wants to show their face. Ace of Pentacles usually comes in the wake of death. That's the new seed. But we also have the Page of Cups So there's also water for this new seed, and it's a 4 of Wands. So I'm thinking you have said no to something that you really, 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 really wanted because of something you want more. Okay, something that's even more precious for you. And it might be just an idea. Ace of Pentacles again, 7 of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles. Okay, so it's like you have a lot of patience and you have a very solid plan and you're ready to sacrifice the almost dream for the greater dream. And it's like you have your mind set on something it's something unique that you want and you can't replace it with anything else. So you're prepared to wait. So for some of you, it might be that death has come to some of your dreams, but you're not going to give it up because that's the only thing that's there for you. So it doesn't matter what other kind of dreams wants to come in because there can be only one. Okay. So 6 elements to give us clear view reading for my dear Capricorn viewers. Yes, and a High Priestess and a Knave of Chalices. So you have very keen intuition in this situation and you have done great sacrifices, but you haven't sacrificed the holiest holy inside of you. You have still this very beautiful connection with your emotion and with the divine. So you are on the right track. It's just that you have become a very great soul that's ready to make big sacrifices for something that's even better. You're not going to live with compromises anymore. The 4 of Swords can sometimes be a situation where we are diplomatic and there's peace on the surface but not deep within. So you might have endured something even though you knew there was something better out there for you, or that improvement could have been made. For example, on a marriage, you knew you kind of endured the person or the situation or the marriage you were in, even though you knew that there was things to be done to make this situation even better. Maybe the other person wasn't willing, so you had a lot of patience with kind of compromising your dream a little bit. But I think that patience is still there, but you don't see the diplomacy as a way forward. That's not going to work. There's needing of bigger gesture and you actually committing more to the situation you want than sometimes to the person, even if that sounds a little bit cruel. But if a person doesn't want to change and you see a vision very clearly, it seems like you go after the vision instead of the person. Even if the person is still the one, it can't be you and them as long as there's only this surface piece. Okay, so that's as close as I can describe this, I think. So okay, so I want you to have love in your life and find yourself in loving relationships. I also want you to have creative success and to be able to walk on your highest path towards a little Page of Swords as well with this Ace of Pentacles. Something eludes me here. For some of you Capricorn, it will be that you have been the one not expressing your very deep love for someone and someone sacrificed you, and now you're going to have to overcome some childhood like a survival skill that you have had. Maybe to not show what you really feel and have a plan for everything so you wouldn't get hurt. But here comes something much more deeper, something much more pure and stable and also adult with the 4 of Pentacles. So I'm thinking it's time to end the childishness where we don't show what we truly mean and truly feel, and we need to show this from the bottom of our heart. We don't have to be silly about it, like if I don't have you I don't want to live, not those kind of dramatic things, but yeah, I love you and that is how it's going to be for a very long time, and I'm I'm not going to pursue anything else, but I'm not going to pursue you either if you don't want to be in a relationship with me. So it's like having a very adult approach to this. And here we have the Four of Swords. It's in the face of the sun, together with the Five of Pentacles. So what this is telling me is that someone is faking what they truly feel because they are scared to feel bad. So when we tell someone that we love them, and if they start to take our love for granted, we might feel bad about that. But it's like a chicken way out to not express the love. Okay, that's the only thing I want to say about that. Okay, so yeah, the Devil is popping out their face together with the Nine of Cups and the Eight of Swords. So the Devil is, of course, Capricorn. From the beginning it was a situation where we were very close to the earth and to our bodies, but that become closed off, you may, with the Eight of Swords here, where we started to listen more to what others said about us than to listen to our own bodies and instinct. So now this has become like a craving, something that we can't have, but which we want. We want to have food. We want to not become thirsty. We don't want to be cold. We want to have love in our lives. But sometimes we are denied our basic needs, and then it becomes like a shadowy craving. So some of you have this problem with someone shadowly craving you maybe, but doesn't want to admit to it. Or you shadowly craving something and doesn't want to admit to it because you think it's wrong, or it's taking down your holy image of yourself as something more pure and someone that's not touched by lower feelings or passion or whatever it can be, different things. So someone has problem with being genuine. That's kind of the bottom line here. Someone doesn't want to be genuine because they think they will lose something when they are genuine. So, okay. I'm just going to tune in for a few seconds to you and this reading. Okay, so my dear Capricorn, this is your future there. And this is your now, and this is your past. And in the past we have a Ten of Swords. So something awful have happened here. Something that was very hurtful. And that kind of made you or someone else arm themselves with these survival skills that actually, yes, protected them, but also separated them from their core a little bit. So with the Ten of Swords, it's the Minor Arcana Death card. Something old needs to go, needs to yield, needs to give in for something that's new. We will see more. Okay, and this is the now, and here we have a Nine of Pentacles. So Nine of Pentacles, it's when it's safest to be alone, when we feel safest to be alone. Hell is other people, kind of, and we build on our own situation, because as soon as we are with other people, our survival skill comes out and might be rather self-destructive. For example, we don't want to be betrayed, so we become jealous and possessive and controlling, or we don't want to be abandoned, so we do and say a lot of things that makes other people abandon us. So it's like we become a little bit crazy when we go into relationships. So therefore this person here is deciding that they rather be alone, not because maybe hell is other people, but I become like a hellish person when I'm with other people. So it can be this. So this can be you, or it can be another person that you're dealing with, or both. Maybe both have this problem. Usually most people have this problem. Okay, and this is the future, and we have a Four of Pentacles. So it seems like someone's closing shop. Someone doesn't want to repeat old mistakes. They don't want to see themselves turn into something that they don't recognize. So they are trying to keep the lid on, keeping cool, closing off their emotions, closing down the shop, the store, and calling it a night. So that is what I'm feeling. So some of you in this situation is doing that, either the person that you're dealing with or you yourself, because they don't like what they have become. So they want to live a more healthy and stable life and don't want to act crazy. Okay. Yes, okay, so this, the past, and we have the Ten of Swords there, and here's the Seven of Wands. So someone is fighting for something, and it's like a constant fighting that never ends. Either we are fighting with the person we are with to get our point across, or we are fighting with ourselves, trying to stop the things that wants to come up, jealousy, sadness, drama, control, abandonment, issues, whatever it can be. We're trying to fight. So we are fighting both inside ourselves and on the outside of ourselves. And it's kind of a little bit sweet because it shows how much we want to be good. Okay, it shows how much we want things to be better. We're just using maybe the wrong approach to the situation. And we can see a little bit of a green dog there in the background. And this is, I'm thinking, it's like a dog that hasn't got good training. So it will do what the dog feels is the best thing, but maybe with better guidance or better information, it can be even more loyal, even more approved. And it's not about approving yourself either. It's about something else. We will see with the other cards here. Next one is the Two of Swords. So Two of Swords, again with this cutting, it's like people are trying to cut away bits and pieces of themselves or close things in, or maybe not talk about things that's bothering us because we don't want to have an argument. So in the wake of this, I'm thinking that there's a lot of things that is not being said and a lot of infectious things that lays unresolved. Yes, and that is not a good situation. Okay, and I guess you feel it, that there could be so much better if only I could say this to her without she freaking out, or if only I could show him what I want without him giving me the cold shoulder and shunting me out. If only I can make them able to listen to me, while this person maybe doesn't listen that well themselves. So it's a two-way street here. We both need to be able to both communicate clearly and taking responsibility for what we feel, and also being able to listen. So we have kind of the I don't know what's the name in English, but this is like a flash underneath the ground. It makes these beautiful shapes. It's like glass. When a flash of lightning hits sand, it becomes glass. Okay, but this flash comes from within. So I'm thinking maybe the dog has the instincts within, might be closer than to listen to the outside. But what I was going with that with the dog was that if we have the right information, when we have this loyalty and we want to do the good thing, if we are trained enough, if we have the knowledge, we can be so much better into communicating or solving conflict or being good people. It's not about being conformed into one shape. It's about being educated. Okay. So next card here, it's the Strength card. So the Strength card, it's a very high vibrating energy with this. It's a person being able to combine both the lowest parts of themselves, like their wants and their needs and their cravings, with the highest soul self, because finding out that both are the same. Your feelings are there for a reason. They are not there to be fought. They are there to be dealt with, confronted with, made aware. Because usually if we get extremely jealous, for example, there's a root cause to this, and this is what we need to find out. So we align with the jealousy. We say, okay, jealousy, you're here to show me something. I'm very grateful for your time and effort to make me aware of whatever it is that I need to address at this moment. And you do that instead of trying to avoid, or like here she's taking hold of the lion and we don't know exactly what she's going to do. She has a kind of peaceful expression in her face. I just think she's holding back the jealousy, maybe to, if this jealousy is such a good example, I don't mean you are all jealous, I'm just meaning it's a very good example everyone can understand, that we are holding back our jealousy because we know that this is not the jealousy is not just showing something that I need to be aware of. So we are preventing it from hurting other people, whilst we are taking it in and looking at it ourselves. So we can say to our partner, I feel very jealous in this situation when you are talking with other people, and that they seems to flirt with you, and it makes me feel like you want other people's attention. I know that most of this is about me, so I'm going to deal with it and I will come back to you. And you find out what's what. You stay with the Sun and the Ace of Wands. And yes, okay, a little bit of Four of Swords, diplomacy. She's holding back this lion here. And then you come back and you say, okay, so this is what I found out. And it's that I'm jealous because I don't trust you. So we need to work on trust in this relationship if we want to have a good foundation in it. And that kind of means that I need to go first. If I come and talk with you when you are talking with other guys, I need to have your attention for as long as I'm there. And then when I'm walking away, you can talk with these other people again. So that can be a way to train each other to show loyalty, but also become more trusting. Because we know that this person is not talking with these other people because they are more interested in them. It's just that it's fun to get a new input and getting to know other people and having your time of your life. You're not here to control your partner or to make them do things they don't want. It's just about showing consideration. Oh, here comes my most beloved one, and we are engaged and soon to be married, and I love him so much, and giving him attention, introducing him to the people that's there, and then when he walks off, continue with where you were at. So showing loyalty and also being open with, I have this person in my life, I'm not available for other people. That's also loyalty. So the person that's overly jealous might feel like they are crazy, but they are actually pinpointing some kind of problem where this other person maybe want attention from other people because they want to feel loved. So they don't even say that they are engaged because they want to kind of play the other person to show more interest because I need your attention. So here both people kind of needs to grow up. One needs to allow the other person to talk with strangers or whomever, and one person needs to address why they want this attention, or maybe not, like playing a game a little bit. Okay, so next card here is the Devil. So that's our shadow, and that's the thing that the jealousy, the lion there, wanted to point out, that there's a thing here that hasn't been addressed, hasn't been dealt with, hasn't been digested or looked at, and no plan has been made for how to deal with this. So there's shadows not being addressed. But here I'm thinking with these two cards, there's a great possibility of actually addressing this shadow here and now. And this might be, of course, a situation where Leo or Capricorn are together dealing with these kind of things. But mainly I'm seeing that this is a chance for your soul to actually start to deal with your shadow in a very hands-on way, in a way that's easy and kind of straightforward and comes with a lot of solutions. And here we have a King of Wands, another card for Leo. So I'm thinking it's about being self-assured enough to be able to say what you mean and mean what you say, kind of that. This reminds me of an old boyfriend when I was maybe 19. And we were out in a place with my girlfriends, and my girlfriends were looking at all these other guys and giggling and asking me, what do I think about that person? What do I think about that person? And my boyfriend at that time, that was a very wise person, said, I don't like this, where you are engaging my girlfriend to talk about these other guys, and I don't want you, my girlfriend, to say comments of other guys when I'm here listening. And I hadn't noticed that it was something that could have been offensive. But when he said that, it was so obvious. And I just stopped. I said, okay, so the fun and game is over. And now we are moving on to more adult things here on this party. So, and I was amazed about his how sure he was about himself in that situation, and how clear he was being able to communicate himself. He was not a Leo, it was a Libra, and he was very adult about it, and he wasn't angry afterwards. He just said what he needed to say, and we changed, and then that was over and done with. So everyone was happy, and that's how it should be. Not that a person said this and everyone jumps at this person and say, oh, you're so jealous, and can't you tolerate that your girlfriend is looking on other people, and that's so low. So actually everyone cooperated very beautifully. And when people are not cooperating that beautifully, that's the big red flag. Not the problem itself, but if people doesn't want to do anything about it, that shows kind of cemented behavior, where we are not able to change our ways because we don't want to. We want to be in connection with our lowest element. We want to keep feeding the devil a little bit, okay? I can't live without making you jealous. So sitting here and telling how good looking that those other people are. So something that has been very hurtful and painful, but we deal with it. First, we don't want to because we're trying to fight down maybe the urges and put the lid on, but then it just comes out because we align with our soul. We confront our shadow. That's not a bad thing. The shadow is just things that we didn't like with ourselves, so we put it away. I don't want to be clingy or needy or possessive or controlling or jealous or whatever. So I'm trying to not be that. But all these things have a message for you. So if you just put it in the shadow, the things are not dealt with and it's not solved and we can't move on. So to deal with the shadow is to being more adult and addressing a situation instead of just swooping it underneath the carpet. So, and again, this situation, we see the person having their feet on their lion and still being non-reactive, like having control over the situation. But you see the person is kind of oozing self-respect, that they are not going to fight about this, but they're not going to change their mind either. So it's a person that's very sure and non-dramatic, because it doesn't have to be drama. If you take your emotions seriously, then you're not, no, that's, this is how I feel and I'm not going to change my mind about it. We are going to have to address it. Oh, and if you don't want to, then that's fine. But then we have no business together. So you need to be more sure of your feelings, that they have something important to say. And it seems like you have been able to do this in the past, being able to see through and not judge yourself harshly anymore or try to fight yourself, but actually taking yourself seriously. Okay, and here we have the beautiful Empress underneath the Seven of Wands. I'm just going to close off the sound on my computer if I'm able to. So, and the Empress comes underneath the Seven of Wands. Okay. This is a situation where we kind of have been hurting our own flesh, we can say. We have been fighting our own beautiful inside in a way, okay? I don't know for sure exactly what is going on here, but with the Seven of Wands above the head of the Empress. I'm thinking also we want to be unconditionally loving. We want to be a great person. So we have certain personality traits which we don't like, and we try to eliminate them because we want to be all loving. But it's more loving to address the shadows, because if we don't, we become this loving person with a shadow, like a person that can't admit ever being wrong, because they always have to always be just nice and perfect. In other case, they are worthless. Okay, they are worth nothing. If we want to be big and loving, we need to be able to see everything that's going on. It's not loving to say, no, it didn't hurt me at all, and then passively aggressively hating that person for the rest of the week. That's not love. So this is usually what's happened, maybe even without the person really knowing it, because they have this shadow. They are angry and they need to say it, and then it's over and done with if we solve the situation there and then, instead of letting it become infectious and long lasting. And here we have the Five of Cups underneath the Two of Swords. So this is a person feeling that they are not good enough if they show their hurt emotions. So I'm thinking there's a certain stigmata on the feminine side to us, where tears are not great. If we cry, it's because we want to manipulate someone into doing what we want, or we are weak, or we are pansies, sissies, whatever. So it's a kind of stigmata here which make people unable to express themselves, and rather wants to act like they are the bigger person with the Two of Swords and put a gag on. Okay, so we'll see where it goes. Next card here is the Six of Swords. And it comes underneath the Soul card here, Strength. So it says that you need to express what's in your heart. And it's kind of straightforward and easy. You need to express what's in your heart. Simple. And it's the middle card of the reading. So it's kind of the advice for you, I guess. Tell people what's in your heart. Be as clear as possible. Be as communicative as possible with this. Describe it, pinpoint it in a way that can't be misunderstood. So if you're hurting and you have, it's like an overflowing hurt here which needs to be communicated. So I think you have something to say to someone that has hurt your feelings. Before you would have not said it, but now if it comes becoming if you have this hurt and then you come into the situation with this person and something similar flares up, it's time to address it. Okay, maybe we don't want to, if this is an old quarrel, maybe we don't want to call the person up and say, well, I'm still angry about what you did a year ago. But usually we get more chances because people are doing the same repetitive patterns over and over again. So if it's your parents, your loved ones, your friends, co-workers, whatever, they're probably going to do the same thing again. And in that situation, you need to become more aware, more in tune with your soul self, so you are able to express yourself in that moment. So that's something we can practice. Of course, we usually come up with these things long after the conflict has ended. So in that case, we can easily call people up and say, I have been thinking about what we discussed the other day. I really don't want to for us to have a conflict, but I can't just bury that, what I feel right now, and this is how I feel, and you tell them. So that can be a way to slowly approach the situation in which you will be able to say the things you mean in the actual situation. The first couple of years, it might come to you first afterwards, but if you do address it, even if it comes a few days or a few weeks later, this might be a great breakthrough. And that is only if you are with a person that's open for this right now, because some people won't be, and they are still going to feel like, no, it's nothing wrong with me. I never said that. I have never done such a thing. I'm perfect. Because if they admit to having done wrong, they are worthless. So you need to accept that some people are not ready for this kind of conversations, and you might need to let the wound still be open and unaddressed. but some people will be ready, and you will find a beautiful new way of communicating yourself in a relationship, and you will also allow for another person to do the same, and that is when we can have real progress. Okay, so yes, and here we have the Fool underneath the Devil, showing that what we feel is only natural. Okay, so it needs to be addressed and not be made a monster underneath the bed. So the child needs to take out all the monsters underneath the bed before bedtime, going it through with their parents, and finding out what is bothering them, instead of having to live with trauma, with having monsters in the bed, in the wardrobe, or wherever. So sometimes, of course, it can be real monsters or ghosts, I guess. But usually it's a person's subconscious making them scared, and it doesn't only affect children. It's like this also when we are adult, but it might no longer be monsters underneath the bed. We might start, when we are going to sleep, start worrying about money, for example. That's our monster underneath the bed. So these things need to be addressed instead of hidden away, and that is how you calibrate or tune in your soul and become more and more yourself, and more aware also. And here we have the beautiful Emperor, and this is making me so happy, because here we have the Emperor and the Empress. They are almost facing each other, almost. He is facing her, but she is looking into a dream landscape somewhere. And we have the child here. The child in numerology, this is 22. 2 plus 2 is 4. Also 13 death is 4, the Emperor. So it's the child, it's the Emperor, and then it's death. So it's like the rise and fall of civilization. Rise and the situation where the empire is blooming, and then the fall of the civilization. So something is going on here with that kind of process where things have risen and fall. So something new is coming and something old needs to go, changing ourselves, I'm thinking. But here we have the 5 of Cups and the 6 of Swords. So I'm thinking there's an opening specifically within the divine masculine to maybe approach their more feminine side. So it's like the divine masculine inside of you is more open to acknowledge emotions, hunches, guesses, intuition, and things like this, to be of super great value. Okay, it's no longer only logic, but we can put, sometimes we say, I will sleep on it, because in our sleep we use the subconscious to solve issues, and that's the feminine way of doing things. We have this Emperor underneath the King of Wands. So this is Aries, this is Leo, and I guess Aries then, if the Fool is connected with the Emperor, but I'm not sure about the Fool where they belong actually. The 13 death is Scorpio. So, and underneath here we have this 9 of Pentacles. So it kind of shows that when we start to love ourselves and respect ourselves and everything that's inside of us, and we take it serious, and if it's something inside bothering us, we take it out and we address it. That's when we become adult, and that's when we suddenly become like able to take more responsibility. We are getting more, people can come to us with their problems, and we will help solving it instead of making it worse, which sometimes happens when people that's married or in any kind of relationship rather become like siblings, where they are, no, it wasn't me, it was you. No, it wasn't you, it was no, it wasn't me, it was you. Yeah, okay. But here I'm thinking people can become more solution oriented instead of oriented towards who was wrong and who was right, which is like out of the point. It's not about wrong and right, it's about experience and how we perceive a situation. So it doesn't mean that if a person, for example, we take this with the jealousy, is jealous that they are right to be jealous. It's not about that, and it's a very it can be a very awful situation where someone is each jealous and become possessive and start to accuse someone for something that they haven't been doing. But if both people in this situation can be more adult about it, one will know, okay, I have the jealous feelings. It doesn't mean I am the jealous feelings, or that the jealous feelings are right in what they kind of suggest. And the person that being targeted with jealousy can be, okay, I have not been unfaithful and I am not disloyal, but maybe I have not been able to make this come across that I am loyal. I need to show maybe more, and I need to know how to show this other person that I'm loyal. So if both people one can take responsibility for being jealous, and the other one can at least be aimed towards helping the jealous person to get to know what's going on. Why are you jealous? What is going on with you? What is happening? Sometimes with jealousy comes also anger, and then it becomes a little bit impossible situation, and you might need counseling because an angry, jealous person can sometimes even be dangerous. I don't see it exactly here more than the 10 of Swords in the past there, which can indicate some kind of more traumatic situation, maybe with abuse of some sort. Okay. But I don't see that in the now. I see that people, when they start loving themselves and ground themselves and accept themselves for what they are and what they feel, there's a better situation. They are miles apart still, but the Six of Swords is the connection. Here is a person, I'm thinking, feeling inferior to divine feminine, and therefore needs to make her small. If we still let our mother rule our lives, we are going to have a hard time dealing with our feminine side. That goes for both males and females. So we still feel as a child in our presence, and she still feels disappointed on said child. But when we grow up, we will face each other as people instead of children, because most people are in relationship and acting like the other person should be their parent. And actually both are doing this, so they are more like siblings in war than actual two adult people. So, but when we love and respect ourselves, we will become more adult. And this is your future. And here we have Death, Seven of Wands, the Empress, and Death. Interesting situation. I actually want to take an oracle card for that. I'm going to take from Oracle of Vision with Cyril Marchetti. Sometimes I've seen like the Empress together with the Death card when there's a child being born, because the female's life is going to change forever. So Death is about change. But with the Seven of Wands above the head, I'm a little bit confused. Okay, so we have the Seven of Swords there. No, it's not the Seven of Swords, but I said it was the Seven of Swords. So it might have some kind of connection. Okay, the Seven of Swords is a card about a person not having the best self-esteem, so therefore coming out as phony. And we had the Seven of Wands up here. And this is an angel that is stuck and feeling very depressed about being stuck, but they have a blade there. And what they're stuck in is just a red ribbon. This red ribbon might show a connection that you have with a certain someone, which feels maybe more important than your own life. So therefore you don't want to disconnect it, even if the relationship makes you miserable, because you don't know what you will have instead. And we can also notice that the person they are not even like tied in a knot. The end of the rope is there. So this is like a codependent situation where someone free willingly have been stuck in a situation where there's more war against myself. Maybe both you and your partners is having a war against you. Like there's something wrong with you, and you can't have those emotions. You shouldn't be disappointed. You should endure more pain. You shouldn't be jealous, or you shouldn't want more time from your partner. You shouldn't want more appreciation. You shouldn't want more love, more sex, more hugs, more holding hands or whatever. And you kind of just bow to this because of the Seven of Swords, not feeling having the best self-esteem. And here with the Death, that's some kind of freedom, because if you don't take yourself out of this situation, Death will. Okay, so it's still a choice for you to change how you're behaving towards yourself or letting other people behave towards you. But if you don't make the choice, life is going to make it for you, because you're not supposed to, like this grandiose angel is not supposed to be in this situation. It's beneath you. Okay. Yeah. And next card here is the Nine of Cups. So we are allowed to have feelings and to get those feelings understood, or our needs met, because this is also needs. It's the Nine of Cups. And before, I'm thinking we were trying to be diplomatic about what we felt, but here it's saying, Death is saying, you were not here so you could starve to death, deprived from your needs being fulfilled, love, sex, closeness, intimacy, loyalty, people having your back. You weren't, that's not why you were here. So you were never supposed to endure that. Okay. Next card is the Knight of Cups, and it comes underneath the Strength and Six of Swords. So you know how love should be. You know what chivalry love should be. It's just that you don't think that you will ever have it. So you have been satisfied with the crumbs because the ribbon here was so important to you. But now you need to dream of something better. For some of you, there might be a Leo coming and addressing some issue between you and want to make amends or want to make things better. It doesn't have to be a Leo. Someone trying to be more adult about the situation and talking with you and being ready maybe to change. Because we have the Strength here, Five of Cups, and Death. So someone might be ready to actually end your suffering, because there's some person in this equation, I feel, that could easily say, okay, so I hear you. I hear that you're hurting. I don't want you to hurt. I don't want you to be with me and be unhappy. So let me know what's your concern, and I will address it together with you. So I think if someone said like that, there would be a lot of freedom suddenly being felt, a lot of love being felt, like a tsunami wave of love being showered over you. So either this needs to happen or there needs to be an end of the situation. Either or, the situation is inevitably going to change to the better, I might add. But for some of you, feeling that the red ribbon is so important, it might feel like the end of the world, but it's just the beginning. Okay, yes, and here we have the World card, and it comes underneath the Devil and the Fool. So Fool is 0, is the first card of the major arcana, and 21 is the last. And here is the lion and the bull and the human and the eagle. So everything has come into like union, where we decide that I'm not going to split myself into 30 different personalities, where one is a crybaby and one is like a mean one, and another one is the hero, and the fourth one is the grown up. We are all going to be the same, and we're all going to have each other's backs inside of myself. So it seems like people are coming home to themselves and rather sacrifice situations in your life, even with the people that you love, than sacrifice yourself. This is the only way to change the planet into paradise again. It's by starting to make it a paradise for yourself, person by person. When we come to the 100 monkey, like when 100 monkeys have learned to make themselves happy by aiming towards what's making them happy and filling their life with happiness, every monkey in the world will be happy. So it's a saying about 100 monkey. You can Google it. Okay. So and it's not about happiness. It can be about monkeys figuring out how to boil a potato in a hot spring, okay? So, and the last card is the Six of Pentacles, and here I'm feeling that this is a very beautiful card, talking about a person wants to fix balance, wants to be a do-gooder, even if it means that they lose some of their old power. We have very powerful people here. King of Wands together with the Emperor kind of shows the one or a soulmate for a person that's into guys, and this is the one for the person that's into girls. So, and this is coming together, so it might be different constellations with this, but it seems like people are opening up to maybe being able to discuss their issues more, and if it's not being done, death is going to do something about this, because it's like the person that have had these feelings, and it's the divine feminine, even in a masculine person, it's their feminine side, the feelings that they didn't want to address because they didn't want to cause conflict or be stubborn or be hopeless in some way, so they didn't want to say what was their problem, but here it comes like a natural force. So this person is not going to be able, even if they want to, they're not going to be able to put up with the crap anymore, and that makes it's a very beautiful possibility for the divine masculine inside of us to say, okay, I will give you more room. Instead of using my logic and my coolness and putting the lid on, I will start to listen to my emotions, and I will give them the same dignity as the other things I value with myself. So this is a person becoming whole, we can say. We can see it with the World card here, where this and Six of Pentacles is about it's about balance, balancing the scales between the one who has and the one who hasn't. So it's about, the whole reading here is about equality, becoming equal, letting both of your sides, yin and yang, have equal amount of respect, we can say, in your life. Okay, so I'm going to take a card from the Notes from the Universe on Love and Connection to see what your opposite half is feeling about you. And we have two cards here. It's not as if you need anyone. So it's this Nine of Pentacles card. I'm thinking they feel like you don't need them, and they try to not need you. They try to be in this situation where we are not kidnapped by our outside situation. We can do well on our own. That makes us more adult and more strong, and we don't have to be small and needy, because we are able to fulfill our needs ourselves. So that makes us being able to choose if we are to be in a situation, and choose not to with greater force. And we're not going to stick around to get smushed. Okay, so for as long as you wish to keep them in your life, whoever they may be, understanding them as opposed to changing them will widely improve the chances that they will wish to keep you in their life. On the other hand, you're pretty much stuck with me. Oh wow, how I love you, the universe. So if we want to be with a person, we need to love them for who they are, but they also need to be able to communicate with us about who they are and what they want, so we can see if we are compatible even. Okay, and this is the advice for you. You know what to do. In all battles of the heart over the mind, go with your heart, because truly it's a lot easier for your mind to catch up with your heart than for your heart to catch up with your mind. A whole lot. Not that I don't love your mind, the universe. So it means if your heart is crying, see to repair what it's crying about, okay? You can't force another person to love you, but you can love yourself. So if you are hurt constantly, you need to end the situation. Even if you love this other person, you can continue loving them, but maybe you can't be with them as long as there's no great communication. If there's great communication, every problem can be solved. Okay, that's what the Six of Swords are there for. So this is almost like a person that wants to come and say that they're sorry, but they're not really sorry. They have a lot of optimism for how to fix this in the future. So they might have like some bright ideas. It's not like they are regretful or ashamed. It's more like they have had an epiphany that they want to share with you. Okay, and then I will take a card from Oracle Angels to give you some advice in this situation. Growing, yes, that's a great card for this situation. Growing, becoming the rose. I guess that's a song for you. I don't find a pencil, so I need to remember this. I'm not allowed to go too deep into my subconscious now, because then the rose will be gone. So I'm going to watch this card, so remember your song. Okay. From a higher perspective, everything that we experience in life, whether we perceive it to be wonderful, a wonderful blessing, or a terrible misfortune, or somewhere in between, always serves for our highest growth as spiritual beings in human bodies on this earth. So I can take it again. From a higher perspective, everything that we experience in life, whether we perceive it to be a wonderful blessing, or a terrible misfortune, or somewhere in between, always serves for our highest growth as spiritual beings in human bodies on this earth. So there's nothing wrong with your situation. Everything is a teaching situation. But here you are being taught to understand yourself in the situation and remodel the situation after that understanding. Embrace your life experience without judgment and trust it in the knowledge that they all serve a purpose. Each day I nourish myself with the light in order to grow in divinity. I am here to learn and to grow at a soul level. I find my balance between material and spiritual worlds, and I free myself of inner conflicts. So don't argue with yourself anymore. Unify yourself with yourself. Understand that you are a wise person, and that whenever there comes up an issue that you know going to cause drama, it's about the shadow needs to be dealt with. Okay, something that has been hidden, that people is trying to sweep underneath the carpet, is not allowed to be swept underneath the carpet. Okay, so my dear Capricorn, I hope this helped. I want you to take really, really good care. And I always want to welcome you back. Also want to welcome you back to my March reading that I will perform in the middle of February. I'm also going to do a pick a card reading about what do they think about you, as a request from one of the viewers. That will happen on the 1st of February. So look me up then and see you. So take really good care and bye-bye.